Hello doctors, how are y'all doing today? My name is Maya and I am a medical student in Cuba. For those of you who don't know me, for those who do, welcome back to my channel, welcome back to a new video. This one is, as you can see from the title, about studying in Cuba during the whole COVID-19 pandemic. I will tell you guys about my experience, and since the COVID pandemic isn't over, I'm hoping it will prepare you guys as well so that you go to Cuba with supplies to be able to live as comfortably as you can while you're there, while you're studying, while you're learning, because you're just there to study, but 7 years is a long time. Basically, you're moving there, you're gonna live there. That's gonna be your home for these 6 to 7 years, so might as well make it feel like a home. So this is part 1 of the 2 video series studying Cuba during the COVID-19 pandemic. Quick director's note, the video was getting pretty long, super duper long, so I've decided that this is part 1 of a 3-part video series called Studying in Cuba during the COVID-19 pandemic. This first video specifically is about the pre-class era, so how the pandemic affected us when we were on vacation, when class hadn't begun yet. So before classes began, the whole school was under quarantine, under confinement. So we not only had to do 7 days of quarantine at Hiro after arriving in the country, but we also had to quarantine inside the school, on campus. Everyone was stuck in their buildings, and not just their buildings, their respective floors. So initially, I was on the first floor, so we couldn't go, those of us on the first floor couldn't go to the second or the third or the fourth or the fifth floors, and vice versa. Obviously, this rule was broken several times, as happens with most rules. We could only come out for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We needed to eat. They weren't gonna let us starve during quarantine. So during breakfast time, the jefa de piso, or sometimes I had to wake up kind of earlier before the other girls to scream, "Desayuno, desayuno, hora de desayunar, levántense niñas," to wake the girls up and get them to go for breakfast to the cafeteria. Or sometimes we'd scream, "Almuerzo, almuerzo," or "Cena, cena." Obviously, it's a big school. ELAM has I think at that time, first semester, had 1,300 students, if I'm not mistaken. That's what I heard. I didn't count them all. Although after a while it doesn't feel like it, because you see the same faces and it's the school feels small. Since it was a big school and we were trying to stop the spread of the virus in case anyone had it, the school would organize itself and organize each floor in each building a specific time for lunch or dinner or breakfast. For example, if it was the first floor's turn for dinner, first floor building 5's turn for dinner, then we would have to wait in line for there to be a specific amount of space in the cafeteria. There's more than one cafeteria. It's one big building with maybe 7 cafeterias, but some of those are designated for teachers, for professors, and for staff. And so because there were 7 cafeterias, different buildings or different floors could go have either breakfast, lunch, or dinner at the same time. They would just go to different cafeterias to maintain social distancing, to prevent crowding, and to prevent the spread of the virus. Because of this, since we weren't allowed to meet, we only knew the people on our floors, at least the new people. Obviously those in first year and second year, they knew other people. They had loved ones, they had partners. And so because the buildings are separated by sex, there's a female building, there's a male building, it was prohibited for girls and boys to speak or to meet, because obviously you're not from the same building, you shouldn't be meeting each other, you're just out here to eat, what are you doing? One thing about that system was that lines were so damn long. Sometimes they would let the whole building go out. Maybe not the whole building, but 2 or 3 floors go out at the same time. Yo, the lines were so long. I don't have footage of the building to show you just how long those lines were, but they were long as hell. And the thing is, you had to queue both in the building, outside the building, going into the cafeteria, and it was so annoying. But since we were indoors, we didn't know anyone. I feel like my roommates and I like made the most out of being able to go out from time to time for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. I remember we would look at boys going up the stairs to the other cafeteria through our cafeteria's window, and we'd just be like admiring them. This sounds mean, but like classifying who's hot and who's not. And then we were all just disappointed by the time we were all let out and people weren't wearing masks and shit, and we were like, we thought you were hot. Sad. Most of the guys had girlfriends anyways. Sometimes like people, heterosexual people, would go out, would like sneak out to go see their loved ones. I say heterosexuals because obviously girls who like girls, most of them were in the same building. Guys who like guys, most of them were also in the same building, so they didn't have that need, unless maybe they were in different floors. And a lot of my friends, people that I met after quarantine ended, they told me that they would sneak out at any time, not just during like breakfast or lunch or dinner, but in like chill on the roof of the cafeteria or on the roof of the library or wherever, be somewhere where they wouldn't get caught. Every day we would have like temperature checks and like symptom checks by the nurses or the tias or doctors or teachers. That way people with symptoms or with an abnormal body temperature were taken away to quarantine at the school's hospital. And personally, I believe that the time of confinement allowed us to bond with our floor mates. Small groups of close friends were formed. I remember even a few of my roommates and I and a few girls from other rooms decided to work out in the lobby of the floor, and we were just having so much fun. Like it was hard, like obviously it was a workout, we were trying to get ass, but we were having fun and like laughing and shit. It was a nice like bonding moment for us to get to know each other, to enjoy each other's company, and yeah. Floor meetings in the lobby. Because the whole floor was cohabiting, obviously there were gonna be some disagreements on the way of doing things and orderliness. Because of this, there were a lot of floor meetings, basically the whole floor. Like say their complaints, say how to fix it. For example, I think the issues were usually the bathroom and the fridge. Bathroom, the issue was that there were a lot of girls, and sometimes girls would take too long. Kitchen, that people were stealing stuff from the fridge. The fridge was dirty and people kept things for a long time and didn't even use them. And like we decided once a week someone's gonna clean the fridge and like the whole floor. And we had these meetings virtually every week, if not more or less often. This was during quarantine. After classes began, we didn't have that many meetings anymore. Since we were locked up for a long amount of time, we weren't allowed to go out unless it was to eat. So the school has shops, right? Places where people can buy snacks and hamburgers and whatnot. It had a place where you could buy milkshakes, but there were no milkshakes when I was there. Due to the COVID pandemic, you'll hear more about that in part 2 of this video. So like the workers of some of the shops would pass by our building and like sell their goods. So the shops that would usually come to our building was the bakery and the cafe under the Commodore. The lines would be huge and people would spend a lot of money because that's all we had. I used to buy donuts from the cafe under the cafeteria almost every single day, and they weren't that good. So those who wanted to buy things would either wait in line, and it was a long ass line, or they would ask a friend who was already in line to buy the thing for them, whatever they wanted for them. Sometimes the worker didn't come to the door unless you called them. So like you'd call them, you'd make your order, and they'd bring it to you. Sometimes. Most times they'd come. Well, at least the bakery would come most times. Sometimes the hamburger place would also come, but they would sell like milkshakes. That was the only time there was milkshakes in the time that I was there, in that whole semester. So, birthday parties. A lot of the times we would call the bakery or the hamburger place or the juice place or wherever inside school in order to, order in bulk. Order a lot of things, usually for a birthday party. Juice, donuts, chicharrone, chicharrita. Because they didn't make cake at school, we had to order it from outside campus. I think it cost like 1,000 pesos. 2,000 pesos, I'm not sure, but it's a good cake. I like it, but like, I don't know if I'm willing to pay 1,000 to 2,000 pesos for cake. No, I am. I'm being healthy now. Sure. Overall, I don't think confinements within buildings was terrible. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. There were good and bad experiences. Overall good, but just stressful, because humans are social beings, yada yada yada, all that stuff you've heard before. Guys, I just finished editing the video. I'm so sorry I look dead. I'm so sorry. I've been tired this whole week, so that's probably the reason why. Or maybe that's just my face. I don't know, but I'm sorry if it bothers you, because it bothered me. So this is part 1 of the video series, studying in Cuba during COVID-19. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was interesting for me to make, to relive those moments, to be able to tell you guys about it. So I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel for more content. I post every Monday. Share this video with your friends. Comment any questions, any suggestions, any criticism that you guys may have. Anything at all, comment it down below. And turn on post notifications so that you are alerted when I post. So, see you guys during the next video. Bye!